Good day, everybody. Once again, welcome to Real Talk with Eugene Holden, brought to you by the New Thought Media Network, bringing you all kind of wonderful things. You can always check into the comment section and check on their link, click on their link for the New Thought Media Network newsletter, and their in our donation button is there as well. Can you believe it, man? It's October. It's October 2020. October 1st, 2020. You know, far be it for me to remind everybody that this has been an interesting year. Oh my God, it's just been a crazy year with everything, right? With everything that's going on in our lives personally, whatever it is. And then you add on to that, COVID-19, which has impacted the nation, has impacted the world, but let's talk about the nation in crazy, powerful ways. Has impacted the United States, where we talk about health-wise, we talk about the economics, we talk about politically, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And I was speaking with someone yesterday about just wanting the world to stop just for a moment, I was with some friends who had to put their dog down yesterday, and I helped them, build, a box to put the dog in because they wanted to bury the dog on their property, and which they did, just within that. And this has been a year of transitions. I have, as we all have had, friends who have made the transition either directly connected with COVID or whatever else. There was a good friend of ours, Reverend Kathleen Linover, that passed in her sleep, apparent heart attack, so people are dropping off of the planet, things are moving. And then we have this political, be nice, Eugene, experience, that we're going through, and which added, I have to say that this past week's Entertainment Tonight on Tuesday, just adds to the divisiveness that the nation feels and that the nation is experiencing. And, the producer of the show, my good brother, Reverend Robert Brzezinski, and I were speaking right before we went live here. And he said, so what are you going to talk about? And I have to be honest with you guys, I have no idea. I didn't have anything planned at all because of everything that is going on. And so Robert and I were speaking, and we talked about maybe, what I want to remind everybody is that sometimes we just need to take a step back. There are lots of times where you want to go from this point to the next point. We want to go from A to Z. We want to go, from A to P. We want to go from where we are and skip all of the things that are in between. That is a bypass. Call it a spiritual bypass, but it's still a bypass. We can't get from A to Z without going through B, C, D, E, F, G, so forth and so on, right? So instead of wanting to do that bypass, instead of getting, angry and upset about what's going on, instead of getting sad about what's going on, I think it's time, being in October 1st, God, it's October 1st. Maybe it's time for all of us to step back and take a breath. To take a breath. There's so much that's going on. So what I want to just offer everybody on this particular day, Thursday, October 1st, 2020, a brand new year, a brand new decade, now is the time. Now is the time for us to, in this moment, maybe for the next 2 or 3 days, just stop. Just stop whatever it is and take some time to take a breath. Also take care of yourself. Because I know if you're anything like me, we always want to keep doing. We got to keep going. I got to keep going. There's more. I have to get ready for a class. I'm doing a workshop. I got to get ready for speaking. I have to write, a forward for a friend's book or whatever it is. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to stop and smell the roses because there are still roses in the world. Maybe it's time to stop looking at all of the negativity that is going on and start looking for the good stuff that is still there. Maybe it's time just to stop and take a break from all the madness. Because here's the thing that I know is that the madness will always be here. The madness will always be right in front of us. We don't need to go look for it. It seems like these days we live in this madness. Or how about this madhouse? So let's take a break from all the doing today, as much as we possibly can. And instead of getting in that vibration of doing, gotta go, let's start to participate in the last half of the species. What I mean by that, we are not human doings, we are human beings. So let's just be today. Let's just be. Maybe pick up the phone and call somebody. I know, what a outlandish idea, right? To pick up the phone and call somebody just to say hi. Don't text, don't send an email, pick up the phone. Or let's go old school, get in your car, drop by someone's house just because. I think that as we participate in more of that, just to sit back and have a conversation with a friend, I think that will help to, well, at least for me personally, relieve some of the tension that I tend to feel throughout the days of needing to get things done, needing to get things complete, having to be pressured. So let's let go of the pressure today. It is an opportunity. And I was saying this with someone else yesterday on our Race Talk podcast that I am a part of. And what I was saying is that, we are at a tipping point, number one, in our lives. But not only that, with everything that is happening in our lives at this time, my dear brothers and sisters, we have been, and will continue to be provided with the opportunity to love more. But I want to stress this, to love ourselves more. See, because if I don't love myself, then how am I going to love that next person? I don't have enough, right? But all of this, let me explain, right? So all of this is allowing us the opportunity to love more, especially self. So what I mean by that, say, for example, we have an experience in our lives that cause us to get angry. There's nothing wrong with getting angry. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? And then if we allow that emotion of anger to take us down a path where we don't feel good for the rest of the day, that's not being loving to self. Now, hear me. I'm not saying do not get angry, because there's shit going on. There's crap happening here. There's a lot of stuff that is going on that causes us to be angry, especially if we live with our heads not tucked in the ground. If we are looking at and seeing what's happening, yeah. But we also want to take the opportunity to love ourselves more, enough to disengage for a moment And as we disengage from all that's going on just for a moment, to take a break, and then loving self could show up as picking up the phone. Hey, bro, how are you doing? Just checking in. I don't want anything except for to find out how you're doing. There's a song back in the 70s, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? What's going on? And there's a line in there. I don't think that's the song, but it's on that album. Anyway, but there's a line that in one of the songs, and he gets down because he's asking all these questions, because he's come back from the Vietnam War, right? The character has come back from the Vietnam War, and he's asking all this question: how is the sports team doing? How is this doing? How is that going? How, what about the jobs? How, so nothing has really changed much throughout the years. But he comes to this part and he goes, my friend, how in the world have you been? How in the world have you been? So, on this short segment of Real Talk today, I just want to invite us all, not some of us, not most of us. I want to invite us all to take a break, to take a breath, to disengage for a moment, because sometimes there's nothing for us to do. There's nothing for us to do but to be. Just don't do something, sit there. As opposed to just don't sit there, do something. Maybe it's time just to sit. Maybe it's time to love more. Well, it's always time to love more. So when you're out today doing whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not at home being, smile at that next person that comes into your field. Say hello. Reach out an elbow, but let's start to get back to being kind to one another once again, and not allow all of the stuff that we have been inundated with to keep us from loving who we are individually and loving who we are collectively. Because I have to say this, and I don't have to tell you anything, but I want to remind everyone that we as a human being, we as a human species, we are remarkable. We really, really, truly, truly are. So that's it for me today on Real Talk. It's about making sure that we don't do a spiritual bypass or any bypass whatsoever. It's about taking the time to take a break. It's about taking a breath. I love you. Now, again, I want to thank New Thought Media Network for producing Real Talk with Eugene. Again, in the comments section, you can click on the New Thought Media Network link to get the newsletters, as well as to be provided with a way to donate to this beautiful, beautiful network and all the things that it is continuing to do. I'll see you next time on Real Talk with Eugene. Peace and abundant blessings. And whatever you do, take a breath. Peace.
You've been listening to Real Talk with Eugene Holden on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us next week for more Real Talk with Eugene Holden.